next speaker that we're going to invite here on the dais would be Mr. Amod Kumar, IAS officer, Deputy Director General from UIDAI. Please put your hands together for the gentleman. Everybody.
Thank you. And good morning, everyone. I'll begin with the question. Suppose you are going to hire for your company and they are employees and you have to shortlist and you have to select someone. And there are 4 traits on the basis of which you will make that decision. One is competence of that person, network of that person, communication skills of that person, and how much trust you can place in that person. So which attribute you would give the most priority to? Trust. Okay. Anybody else? Competence, yes. But competence will go all waste if that person is not trustworthy and leaves the company with all the secrets and joins your competitor. So here I am trying to just stress the importance of the trust in any relationship, whether it is a business, whether even if you are going somewhere and you have to ask, मतलब अब तो Google Maps के दिन आ गए, but पुराने दिनों में आप किसी से रास्ता पूछने से भी पहले एक बार उसे देख के असेस करते थे कि ये रास्ता पूछने के काबिल है भी कि नहीं. Trust. You need trust for very, very small, minute, tiny transactions up to the big transactions. Everything in our life, whether it is business, whether it is government, whether it is personal relationship, the basic foundation of that thing is trust. And that is what Aadhaar does to Digital India. We create the foundation of that trust in physical space. I can look at Abhishek, I can look at Faiz and then correlate something. And how do you trust someone in digital space? And without trust, you can't transact. So Aadhaar is that foundation which brings a degree of trust. I don't say that it is 100% trustworthy, but it brings a basic degree of trust in any transaction. And that is why, why we call Aadhaar Aadhaar. क्योंकि आधार क्या होता है? फाउंडेशन. आधार क्या होती है? नींव. And Aadhaar is the Aadhaar. Aadhaar is the foundation of Digital India. Aadhaar is the foundation of trust in Digital India, and that is why the people, my super predecessors who created Aadhaar, they named it as Aadhaar because it is a foundation for Digital India. And today when we are going to discuss and we discuss the decoding the vision for Digital India, Lieutenant General Vinod Khandare ji spoke before me. Ajitab pointed out certain issues which I think in everywhere there is this layer, and that is why we call it a digital infrastructure. Like for any air operations you need a runway, for any transport you need expressways and highways, that is physical infrastructure. For digital you need digital infrastructure, and that is one of the strongest digital infrastructure is Aadhaar. And as most of you know, and I think almost, I'm pretty sure everyone in this room has an Aadhaar. And Aadhaar is a digital identity, it's not a physical identity, although it is being used at many places as a physical identity as well. But Aadhaar is a digital identity, and one of the things which I would like to share with you about Aadhaar is that before Aadhaar came into being, so we have now roughly 136 crore Aadhaars in this country. And before Aadhaar came into being, there were roughly 30 to 35 crore residents of this country who did not have any ID. So Aadhaar is an instrument of inclusion. Aadhaar gave an identity to those 30-35 crores. So and when we talk about bridging the digital divide, because bridging the digital divide, if you want to make a digital India, we can't do so if a vast majority of us is left away because of digital divide. And so that bridging the digital divide work was done by Aadhaar, by giving them an identity so that they can say that they exist, so that they can tell that who they are. And today I am very proud to say that it has been just 10 to 12 years of Aadhaar, and we every day 70 million times, every day 70 million times, 7 crore times, we tell that Ram Khilawan is Ram Khilawan or Ram Khilawan is not Ram Khilawan. We give this yes-no answer when people are trying to prove their identity, whether they are taking ration in some remote village in Manipur, or they are doing some AEPS transaction by some banking correspondent in Kerala. We do 70 million transactions, authentications every day to certify and to prove their identity. We do it in 3-4 ways. I think most of you would be aware that we do authentication through mobile OTP, we do finger-based authentication, we do iris-based authentication, we do face-based authentication, and we also do demographic authentication for the organizations. And that is the power, and that is the power on which UPI is able to deliver. I think last financial year, there were more than $1 trillion digital transactions in India, and India is a leader. And most of Abhishek will be talking to you about India Stack Global and what are the constituents of India Stack. And most of them, the baseline is Aadhaar, whether it is DigiLocker or CoWIN. So Aadhaar is that base layer. And not only that, if you notice, it gives so much of flexibility to you. You can, if Aadhaar card is lost, you just print another PDF, you just order a print, and if you want to laminate, you laminate, and then it's not like driving license or PAN or passport that you have to reapply and everything. You just go on the site, print it, and again your Aadhaar card is ready. So much ease of doing business to the citizen, so much convenience to the government. So in DBT alone, our savings have been to the tune of $20 billion. And when we created Aadhaar, and even so far, our cost for making an Aadhaar are the cheapest in the world, and I think around $1 to $1.50 we spend per creation of one digital identity so far. And this includes the whole infrastructure and everything included. And so I think this is a great success story of India. We have major benefits, and if we do not take even the intangible benefits into account, the benefit cost ratio for Aadhaar is somewhere to the tune of 1 to 50 or something. So that makes so good a sense that for any other country which doesn't have a digital identity, it is the best return on investment for any government. And today when we talk about the vision for Digital India, I think the only thing I can say is that when you make a foundation which is very strong, but you erect only a 1-story or 2-story building on it, that's underutilization of that infrastructure, that underutilization of that foundation. And that's what I think today we are. What I have told you is a very, very brief snapshot of the benefits we have from Aadhaar, but I can very safely say that we are not even using 10 to 20% of the potential of Aadhaar, which we can use. And I think there are so many areas where Aadhaar can be put to use, and I'm happy that very quickly states are catching up, local bodies are catching up, private sector is catching up in using Aadhaar for very, very innovative purposes. And you know, in public policy we have a concept of unintended positive consequences. And so many times, whether if you see a scheme like One Nation, One Ration Card, it was primarily designed for something else, but it had a unintended consequence of finishing the monopoly of a ration shop dealer. So similarly, Aadhaar, there are so many areas we are still unutilized. Thank you very much.
And with that, I would like to request Ms. Tanya Chiku to please step on the stage and felicitate all of them one by one. Well, now we would like to felicitate Mr. Amod Kumar. Thank you so much, sir.